Module 7. How great. Good work out there, everybody. This is a module on teaching effectively. It's really going to be kind of a starting to synthesize what you've learned into a plan for teaching your students. A plan that integrates everything that you've learned up to this point. So teaching effectively. We all know when it's going well, don't we? You've had those days before where you walk away and you say, that was an absolutely magical day. That was incredible today. I can't believe how well it went. And you know all the work that went into those days and all the variables that just sort of lined up to make those days happen. Those are the kind of things that keep us going as teachers. And hopefully this module gives you some strategies to start to organize and think about how to make those days happen more frequently. Your objectives. Learn about a variety of teaching strategies that are effective and techniques. Learn ways to change the environment to promote learning. And then learn about the importance of a positive relationship with your students. So, one thing that you've probably learned by now or are going to learn but should definitely focus on learning is how important your structure is in your environment. Meaning how you build routines and schedules. How you organize the physical space and the visual space, and any sort of clutter or distractions. Basically, how you are structuring the environment for your students is so important. Then you need to be thinking about how you accommodate and make changes that support sensory differences. You can also be thinking about how important it is that you as a teacher and a paraprofessional and autism mentor are organized, having your materials ready, because we know our students are fast and they want to be learning, they want to be moving, and downtime can be a very big drag on success. So you've got to have your materials ready. You really have to become routine-based, where you get into a physical habit of preparing your space and preparing your materials so that learning can happen right when it needs to happen. Time to learn which techniques you've known about your student that are going to be better than others. At this point, you really are becoming the expert on what makes learning successful for them. And so you're starting to put together a plan about that. But be flexible. Have a backup plan on those days where you're like, that didn't work. But here's my plan B and my plan C. I've already prepared for this so that if plan A does fall apart, which it will, you have some backup strategies in your back pocket ready to go. All right. Positive relationships with your staff are also very important. You might work underneath 2 or 3 teachers. You might be the lead teacher. You might be working with a bunch of other autism mentors or paraprofessionals or aides. How you build a relationship with that working team is critical. There is nothing more toxic to learning than interpersonal conflict that bleeds out into learning and into the environment. We have to be so cautious about that we don't let our interpersonal difficulties get in the way of what it is we're ultimately trying to do, and that's teach our students. So we need to work together and come up with systems between us where communication is valued, input is open, hierarchy, when it needs to be there, is there, but also egalitarianism, meaning people can have equal voices at times too. But we need to work together as a team. And the second that falls apart, everything falls apart. So our interpersonal relationships with each other are crucial. Then having our students develop positive relationships with their peers as well and with us. And that can be through fun activities, that can be through shared interests, play, all kinds of different ways to build those relationships. It can also be helping those peers better understand what autism is so that they know if a student does something that's maybe a little out of the ordinary or different, that it's not because of something that's broken inside of them or to be feared, but it's just part of who they are. We have to engage our students. Too often we'll go to environments where students are sitting for hours at a time or not engaged, or maybe engaged for just short bursts but then left to downtime or unstructured free play. we really need to be thinking about how critical it is that we are engaging with our students often and in meaningful ways. And then reinforcing our students with things that are meaningful and pleasurable to them. That can be tricky sometimes to figure out what a person with autism loves or likes, but we're going to give you some tools in this module to help you assess the reinforcers that really motivate your student to learn. And how you implement those reinforcers, not just figuring out what they are, but how you deliver them so that learning can really build some momentum and fun for the student and yourself, of course. Here's a quote: "If a child cannot learn in the way we teach, we must teach in a way the child can learn." And so that's what this module is all about, is figuring out how we can best support that learning given the tools that we have and given our skill sets as teachers. Let's unpack the module a little bit, tell you what resources are in here. Of course, you've got your PowerPoints, you've got your portfolio builders, but you also have a couple handouts that I think you're really going to like. One is just a cheat sheet to show the difference between an accommodation, an intervention, and a modification. Those three words can get kind of tangled in your head, so that handout really helps spell out what the difference is between the three. Remember data collection? Well, there's a reinforcement assessment and survey in here where you can actually go through and determine your students' top reinforcers, so that when you get back to the classroom, you know that there's 5 things you can have ready to reinforce learning and to make learning more fun. That's going to be part of your data collection. Then we have 3 really nice videos. One is featuring a young student named Bailey. Another is featuring Dr. Temple Grandin, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. And then another reading that is just 22 tips for teachers. It's a beautiful little one document that just spells out 22 highly effective teaching strategies when you have students with autism. You have a lot of work coming up, but you only have a few more modules to go. And hopefully this module gets you going on some ideas on how to start to synthesize everything you've learned. All right.